Hey everybody, this is the Buckeye State Investor Call where myself, Ryan Gillen, and Kara Ray bring you updated information and talk to you about investing in the great state of Ohio. That's why it's called the Buckeye State Investor Call. So we know that there's a lot of people that are local that love to invest in Ohio, and a lot of people around this country and the world love to invest in Ohio just because of the growth, being a landlord-friendly state. And we try to bring you updated information if you decide you do want to put your money in a place where we call home. Something just happened, and Trump, he was talking about barring institutional investors, big time Wall Street investors. And this is not a political thing, but people throw a lot of things out to get a rise out of people, and we don't know what's going to stick and what does stick for how long or whatever it may be, or was it just hot air? Well, he was actually telling the truth and saying, "Hey, we're going to start barring these Wall Street investors," and it just came through the other day. He just made an executive order to bar these investors. So, Kara, we saw it last night. We're like, well, that's what our topic's going to be today is him trying to put in place to where we have it as barring institutional investors having more than 10 doors. So that is not just Wall Street investors. That's like you and I, Kara.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We really wanted to touch on this and go over what this means, what this looks like in the Dayton market also, and
Yep.
Ohio as a whole.
And we don't have a lot of information just yet. And I think we're going to for about another month to 45 days. But here's what the stats are right now. Essentially, they're calling an institutional investor anybody that has 10 or more doors. So say you have two fourplexes and a threeplex, like you have 11 doors. You're not going to be able to buy anymore. So do I think really that's an institutional investor? That's a big time investor? No, that can be a mom and pop that kind of gathered these properties over time. So to me, not really too crazy. But they're saying that these institutional investors, these Wall Street investors, are not allowed to buy single family homes. They're not really talking about multifamilies. So, which is interesting to see where they go from it. I guess in a month, the secretary, the treasurer, is going to define what an institutional investor is. So right now they're defining it as someone with 10 doors. It'll be interesting to see, Kara, it'll be interesting to see what they decide, what they define as an institutional investor.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at first we're like, oh, this is the hedge funds. These are, the
Yeah.
real estate trust
Yeah.
or whoever. It's not just like you and me. Like we're
Yeah.
fine. But now it's like, oh, 10 doors. That's a lot more.
Anybody who invests in real estate understands that 10 doors can add up really, really quickly. If you do single family homes, it takes a little time, but all of a sudden you throw a four or a six unit in there and, bang, it goes, your allotted fund goes away really, really quickly. So so here's what we're going to do is we're going to make our opinion and predictions on what could happen. Right now, we don't have all the information, but depending on what they do and how they define things, I'm going to go off of predictions of how they defined it already.
Yeah.
That's how, which is an institutional investor is 10 doors. So, I've got a couple questions for us, but it's really interesting. I did see a stat that they said throughout the whole country, it is 3% of Wall Street investors that are buying up properties, single family homes. It's 3% of the market.
And here, specifically in Dayton, it's 2.6%. So,
So it's only 2.6 here in Dayton,
yeah.
Ohio, but the country. So we're probably on par. I'm sure there's some places across the country that are like 5 and 6%.
Right.
And there's places that are like 1%. So we're kind of close to that average. I would say 2.6 is pretty close to that average
For sure. Yeah.
for which obviously I guess means it's probably a good place to invest if that means they're investing in this area. It's like, well, they know probably a little bit more than I do about the whole world you know, economy and stuff. I know what I can feel here. But so Carol, let's go over our predictions of what we think's going to happen if this goes through, and it goes through how they stated it this way. So I'll start with single family homes. Um, I think it will get slightly easier. I think it will get 2.6% easier. It will be
Absolutely.
uh, you'll have just slightly less competition. Um, I don't see it really moving in Ohio, making that much of a change. I mean, if it's under 3%, that's not a lot of buyers that you're removing um, from the industry. From the market. I just don't see it. I don't see it moving that much. You might see a little bit of a tick, but like you're not going to really see that much movement in the terms of single family homes. I think sometimes these institutional buyers or these big Wall Street buyers, they come and buy whole developments up. So it kind of skews the data just a little bit. They're not really buying the like random developments as much or, older homes as well. So in Ohio, I don't see it moving the meter that much.
No, I don't either. And especially like we have a lot of lower price points, right?
Yeah.
That's what Dayton's known for. That's why a lot of people invest over here. And we have a lot of first-time investors. So I think we're still going to have the first-time investors that live here in Dayton that are like, oh, that's a low price, low barrier to entry. I'm going to try to get my foot in the door. So we still have those people. We're always
And you're
looking.
100% right because there was a older real estate agent at my last office. He was awesome, always fun to talk to. He always said, all you need is 10 doors paid off, and you're going to live like a king or a queen, like Kara. But he's exactly right. And so not everybody is these massive investors, well, they defined it that, you can't buy more than 10 doors. Well, for a lot of people, that's exactly the portfolio they want to have anyways. So it doesn't stop people from buying doors. It just stops people from buying 4,000 doors.
Exactly.
It stops people from buying 11 doors. So now let's go on to predictions for multifamilies. I think this is the big change that would happen is that these Wall Street investors are just going to go, oh, okay, we'll go do something else. Like, no, they're going to do something else, but I think they're going to get their eye on multi-units because it doesn't stop them from buying multi-units. So I
Right.
think multi-units would then start to see that increase in demand because they're going to shift away from single family homes and saying, hey, if I'm allotting a certain amount of money to purchase real estate, like I'm going to purchase it somewhere. So you might see multi units and some commercial properties starting to get invested more by these Wall Street investors. So the demand might pull away from the single family a little bit and move towards commercial and multi unit investing.
I agree with you 100%, especially the commercial around here. We're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I mean, we have a Buc-ee's that's going in that, is going to bring so many people to the area. So we're always
200
developing.
jobs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bucky's has some good pay. I mean, I saw like a management position. I'm like, man, should I stop doing real estate? You gonna take this management position? I don't even know if they get, I'd probably go for an interview. They're like, yeah, no, you're not qualified whatsoever. Um, but uh, but yeah, that's where I see the multi-units going and having just a little bit more demand because these people are investing. They're investors. They're not just going to sit their money on the sideline. They're going to figure out a play. They're going to figure out a way to go. Right now, the low hanging fruit for them is single family homes, and I totally agree. So
Yeah.
if that gets pulled away from, where's the next place to go? And I
And
think that's multi units.
And honestly, like this could be great for the first time investors and like the ones that only want to get 9 doors. I mean, if these institutional investors have to start selling off properties and they're selling off portfolios, this is going to be a great time for people to start buying them up. It's going to
Yeah.
be fantastic.
And what's funny is as you say the word like only 9 doors. And to me, I'm thinking if I meet someone and they have 6 or 7 rental properties, I'm like, damn, that's a lot. Like you've done a really great job. You've really built up a portfolio. And so I think there's a lot of room to still to be an investor. Definitely, if you want to do single family homes, it's not going to stop anybody from doing that. It just might stop the really, really big companies, which brings me into the next question and our final question on this is how will people figure out a way to get around these things?
Yeah.
I mean, because
Oh,
that's just the honest truth. Can someone buy 9 doors, start a new LLC, and buy another 9 doors, start a new LLC, do another 9 doors? Is it all going to be linked to that person's name? I don't know the answer to that. But everybody finds a way. There's always people that find a way to get around things. And it will be interesting to see they put this in place, what these very intelligent, very smart people that run these massive funds, what they decide to do next and how they get around things. I don't know that answer, but it will be interesting to watch what will happen next and what you're able to do because obviously it would be like, hey, I just need to start another LLC that's $600, $500, whatever it may be, and go do the next one and continue to keep buying. So I think that's going to be the really interesting part is where are the loopholes for some of these big Wall Street investors, how they can get around things, and then maybe a couple things that you can do as the small mom and pop shop investors to be able to expand your portfolio as well. So I think that is the real question of what's going to happen, and then also how the Treasury defines what an institutional investor is.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. So we will definitely keep everybody posted with the information that we find out. We're
yeah.
always going to be talking about this because it's very important, especially in our market. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is our Buckeye State Investors Call. We bring new stuff to you on a bi-weekly basis. We post it on our YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. So please follow along, subscribe to us. And if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us personally. Check out our website. We love to help. We love to answer any questions. And then maybe you have even insight on something that we're talking about, and you're saying, "Hey, Kara, Ryan, you're totally wrong." Like we would love to hear that and be able to bring that to the people. This is obviously new information, and we're trying to figure it out ourselves. But that's the fun part of it is the problem solving and to figure out a way to continue to make money and making the right investments. We want to help you, so give us a call, and we look forward to talking to you. We're Ryan Gillen, Kara Ray, Buckeye State Investors with the Gillen Group out of Ohio, and we look forward to talking to you.
Yes. Bye, guys. See you in 2 weeks.